to make his mama sign an NDA to see his body?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God.
I would do it again. I would do it again every single day for the rest of my life if I needed to.
To see his
I would
body?
do it again and again and again.
Why would she need to sign an NDA to see his body?
Great. But also, I don't understand how y'all don't understand that Stevens even asked her to do it.
He didn't ask her to sign.
I would do it again. I would do it again every single day for the rest of my life if I needed to.
You hear that? You hear that?
Again and again and again.
Why would she need to sign an NDA to see his body?
Great.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. In fact, let me bring the mic a little bit closer. Little Black Book, you know what time it is. Listen, let me be honest with you and real with you. This Twitch situation has got many twists and turns, as I said previously. But the question really is does this recording that Twitch's friend Emmanuel exposed, does it actually show that Allison is really the diabolical villain in this story? Can I be honest with you? No. And as much as I do believe that maybe Allison could be the villain in the story, and as much as I want to be able to nail her to the coffin, as they say, when I actually listen to the actual recording, towards especially the end, and I'm not going to do the whole recording here because I think it'd just be too long, but when you get to the very end of the recording, there are a few things that she says, you're a little bit like for instance, the beginning part where she's talking about, she'll do she will do the NDA all over again. Well, I don't believe it. Whilst I don't agree with that, listening to the actual audio recording, there's no gotcha moment. When you actually listen to it, she's explaining certain things, and unless we can verify it and check it, for instance, the drug situation, there was no drugs found in his system when he passed, right? None. But she talks about the fact that he had so many drugs. So in that case, for where we stand right now, till further evidence comes out, she's lying about that. But in regards to maybe even how he felt about his mom and siblings, let's be honest, a lot of people have some very interesting takes about their siblings and their family. So it's not far-fetched that he wouldn't have he might have felt some way about the family. But again, we don't have evidence of, unless you have the testimonies, I guess, of the brothers and the mother, and even then, they're the ones in question, would have to have testimonies of other people aside them to be able to really be able to discern who's telling the truth here. But again, once again, this recording doesn't necessarily expose her. So we'll play a little bit more on this recording, have a bit of commentary, and let you know our perspective on this situation. I do think there's more to the story, and I do think that Allison has a lot more that she hasn't necessarily said. For instance, why would you drop your name after 48 hours? That is given scary. Why is your daughter now coming out and doing a whole video and trying to defend you? This is not her job. This is you as a mum. That's your job. And I think she ended up dating someone like Emmanuel Ocho not long ago, and I think Ocho is friends with Twitch, supposedly, again. So and we can't say 100% again. So there are things that are being played here where we have to look a bit deeper. But again, this recording, I'm sorry to say, it doesn't actually really nail her to any particular coffin. You might have a few moments like, ooh, but it's not a gotcha moment. Anyway, before we get a little bit deeper, and before we take further down this story, and I'm going to keep close tabs on it over the next few days and weeks, I want you guys to like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button. We are on the road to 100K, and I appreciate you guys who have supported us as well. Listen, let's drop a little intro, and we'll get the show going for you guys.
Little Black Book, you know what time it is.
I got your ass. I told you.
He didn't ask her to sign an NDA to see his body.
Watch this.
Do you understand what I'm
Also,
saying?
did anyone ever tell you
Watch this.
In a party, an NDA for a party, NDAs for a party.
and asking his mother to
No.
send it to the party?
It's not the same thing. I have had the NDA to go to the funeral. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I just said Stevens asked her, have to sign an NDA now. Did you know this?
That's different than signing an
And
NDA.
no, that came from Steven.
I'm asking you. You would never post a picture of Steven in the thing, right? Picture of Steven in the casket, right?
Yeah, but I'm also in the industry. I know that, and also I don't know all the people that were in that wake. By the way, because you're asking this question trying to set me up, I didn't know the people that were invited to that wake.
No, I'm not trying to set you up. I'm asking you. You would never post a picture of Steven in the thing, right? So if you say you wouldn't, why would you think that Connie would do that? That's what I'm asking you.
I was also going off of advice from people, so I don't know. I've never done this before. I don't know why everyone expects me to have done this before. But also, just so you know, by the way, meanwhile, do you know that?
Let's pause right there. First and foremost, she's actually labeling an accusation against her mother, Connie, and other members of the family, because she's actually saying that based on the advice that she's been given, who's advising her, number one. Number two, she's made an action out of that to provide NDAs for the family. Now, maybe somebody was saying to her, like, because you are well known, Twitch is well known, you may want to get NDAs for people so that extended members of the family don't do something crazy. I think this where collaboration with the immediate family, Connie, the brothers, may have been called into question and may have been a place to actually do some work here. Have a conversation, let them know, listen, I think the extended family members need an NDA about not taking photos of his body. But even then, you're going to have to trust the people that come into his funeral, because I mean, how many times people go to a funeral and then take a photo and post it? People can do that because people are actually wicked. But so I do understand the NDA perspective, but it may have been a case of having a conversation with Connie, his mother, his brothers, and really coming up with that plan to go forward. When you excluded them, you actually basically said you're the only one that wouldn't disrespect Twitch. But the reality of the situation is, this seems like, for now, at this moment, that it's kind of disrespectful towards his family. And she's going to explain more about this NDA situation. Let's listen.
Steven has asked Connie to sign an NDA before. This was not her first time signing an NDA. I don't know if you knew this.
I mean, I've signed NDAs before. I think it's more...
Connie had to sign an NDA to go to one of our parties. Did you know this?
That's different than signing an
And
NDA.
No. That came from Steven. And Steven was like, don't make my mom have to sign an NDA. No. Connie had to
Allison,
sign an NDA.
I'm saying...
Now pause it. What did she just actually say? That was kind of contradictory. She said that Connie had to sign an NDA. Okay, and that that Connie had to sign an NDA for a party, and very rightly so. Emmanuel here is telling us as well that it actually is different. To sign an NDA for a party makes sense. This party may be an industry party. You may see some things, don't say anything. But this is a funeral. Somebody has passed away. Somebody has died. Not only that, industry party, very different, and we don't know who ran the industry party either. But also as well, in the aspect, again, this is a funeral where someone has passed away. It's sensitive. There are members who are very close to Twitch, as well, the mother, the brothers, etc. Right? They're very close to Twitch. So it's a different context to having an NDA at a party than it is to a funeral. I think she knows that, but it does sound a little bit suspect that she is trying to make, delineations between the two, or I should rather say making links between the two. I don't see the two being linked. I think it sounds a little bit devious and a little bit egregious, but I will give it the benefit of the doubt.
For Steven to come to a party and Steven asked her to sign it.
Allison, I'm saying...
So this is not... So don't
I'm saying her signing an NDA... I'm saying her signing an NDA to see her son's body. Her signing an NDA to go to the funeral. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I just said Steven's asked her before she could come into a party.
That's different. You don't understand how that's different?
Okay, so wait, was Steven wrong in asking his mother to sign it?
No. It's not the same.
And secondly, in the instance, again, contextually, it's different because Stephen was alive. And so he could ask his mum directly. I was waiting to see if she was going to say that Stephen was scared and asked her to ask the mum. But that's not what she said. She said that Stephen asked his mum, you got to sign an NDA. So he was direct enough to let her know she needs to sign one. So, but coming to his body, he can't give consent on signing an NDA to his mom to come and see his body. He's dead. And so, in that respect, it's very different.
Same thing. I've had family sign NDAs for different things. I'm talking about to make his mama. So you telling me you don't see the difference in a party, an NDA for a party, Allison, other than...
Okay, well, I know this. I'll say this.
Then making his mama see his...
Steven would definitely have my family... By the way, my family also an NDA, no questions asked. It doesn't matter who it is. It was protecting Steven, and it was the right choice.
You think that was protecting Steven, making his mama...
Well, pause about there. She said obviously her family too did an NDA, so I don't know if that. Okay, again, we don't know the actual full details of that. Okay, if they signed an NDA, maybe they did and didn't feel no way about it. But again, she's not the one that died, so in that respect, it's very different. Again, because they don't have the same access to Stephen because they are family in law, and so it's very different to being an immediate family who their child has passed away. So I think again, I do understand what she's saying, but contextually, it's very different in this aspect.
Pause. It don't matter who it is, she said. It don't matter who it is, she said. Let's keep it going. Because apparently, that woman seeing her son's body is equivalent to going to a party. Lord Jesus, help me keep my spirit right.
On NDA.
Context of
to see his body?
So it's a good choice for me.
To see his body.
I didn't celebrate.
That was protecting Steven, making his mama sign an NDA. To see his body?
So it's a good choice for me.
To see his body.
I've been celebrated. Outside y'all, I have been celebrated from how I've handled this and protected Steven.
Listen, you actually think.
Now, it's kind of crazy that she makes that point about how she's been celebrated for how she handled the situation. It's just weird, obviously, in fact, the way that she's actually said it. I mean, you may have felt it or thought it, but to kind of come out and say that you've been celebrated for how you handle things does give a little bit of air of arrogance and a little bit of narcissism. But again, that's a snapshot, and we all have those moments as well. But again, it does seem a little bit off.
That it is cool to make his mama sign an NDA to see his body?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my
and
God.
I would do it again. I would do it again every single day for the rest of my life if I needed to.
Y'all heard that? So, come for me. I told you. I told you what was going to happen. I told you what was going to happen. I told you. I don't give a day. You better ask somebody about me. Everybody who know me know. I'm the same Emmanuel. I ain't no perfect man by no means, but you ain't about to do this to this man and he ain't here. You ain't about to do that. Sweetheart, no. You're not about to do that. And then she talking about, but going to put a book out about this man, what happened to him when he was a kid? For some money? Y'all...
I'll move forward.
Let's go. What else? She said, mental health, right? So she got all this issue out about mental health. She didn't give a damn about his mental health. She dismissed his mental health like it ain't nothing.
Your story to be told, my God.
Allison, if you
Let's go back.
Relied on Steve.
said about me,
Okay, cool. Let's
We
listen.
should not do it open faster wait because
there's a lot of things I didn't like. I didn't like the NDAs in order to go to our friend's funeral. I didn't like.
do you know the context of it before we move on?
What's this?
Own people, and that is a beautiful thing.
But what are we talking about right now?
I'm trying to get
About you.
because I never relied on Steve.
I said about me not hanging out with you.
Personal, oh my God.
I'm just correcting you on what you just said. Hang out with him, I didn't hang out with you.
What's
And
this?
he was a lot of people's friends. He friends' kids.
Oh.
It's my husband.
Yeah, and it was
Other people.
Yeah.
So don't come for me and try to all be like this awful you guys are being about me.
Allison,
Public-
Allison, you are Allison. Like we ain't gotta yell. We didn't talk, Allison, because you didn't answer. Sweet
What's
Allison,
this?
Allison, if you can be on social media, Allison,
I was
What's
crying
this?
in my backyard for almost 4 months straight.
Allison,
And then I got
Allison,
back
no,
home
you weren't.
about how awful you guys are being about me.
Allison,
Oh, yeah.
And
Multiple sources of people.
Yeah.
What's
So
this?
don't come for me and try to all be like this humble.
wasn't the truth.
The truth? You don't even know the truth. It is not your story to be told, my God.
It is my story.
Watch this.
It is my story to be told.
Watch
They're
this.
my friends' kids.
Watch.
Now, as she makes a point here about not being her story to tell, it's interesting because it's actually not her story to also tell about Stephen's stuff in the diary and in the journal. It actually isn't her story. But she doesn't mind taking his story, her husband's story, her late husband's story, sorry. And of course, she's moved on. But it wasn't for her to reveal any of his childhood stuff that are written in a diary to the world. But she's happily doing that to provide some form of context for us. We don't need it. But so she understands when it's not your story, but only when it benefits and aids her, it seems like.
It's my husband.
Watch this.
And it was my friend before he was your husband. He was my friend before he was your husband, though.
What?
He was my friend before he was your husband. He was a lot of people's friends. He's not just your husband. He's a lot of people's
I'm not
friends.
saying he wasn't friends.
He was a lot of people's friends.
What's this?
You hadn't even ever hung out with us.
There she go right there.
I hadn't even.
Listen to me. So here's what she gonna do. I'm gonna tell you right now what she gonna do. Ask people like Tony Bellissimo, Comfort, his friend. What she'll do is she'll say you weren't his friend. That's what she'll do. She'll say you weren't his friend, right? She'll say you weren't his friend. Anybody that comes out and says anything that got any type of truth, she'll try to say, oh well, you weren't even his friend. No, nigga, we wasn't your friend. Yeah, we wasn't your friend. We wasn't your friend. We knew him before you knew him. We knew him before you knew him. What are you talking about? His mama ain't lying, y'all. His brothers ain't lying. Courtney Platt ain't lying. Comfort ain't lying. And, like, these people aren't lying. People have Nelson ain't lying. Oh, they came from Nelson, right? Okay, they came from Nelson. They'll try to bring things out and say, oh, well, Nelson, Stephen had this against Nelson. Listen to me, man. Nelson is rough around the edges. Everybody who know Nelson, know he's rough around the edges. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you, and I'm not saying Nelson been perfect at all. Here's what I am saying though. Nelson and Stephen were actually brothers. You know, brothers get into it. And at one time I had an issue with Nelson. I'm like, this nigga be talking like he just, but guess what? Nelson, 10 toes down, is a good dude. But when it comes, you ain't gotta agree with somebody on everything. But look at who has the family's back. You hear me, y'all? He been here.
Now, if you don't know who Nelson is, Nelson actually, I believe, was a manager for them at a point in time. Actually, he had to put up a post actually on Instagram. If I go through it, You might actually see it. Let me go back slightly so you can actually see it. He put up a post on Instagram. I'm going to scroll through some of my my likes of videos I need to try and do for you guys. But he actually put up a post. Here it is as well. This is saying he's Allison's manager. So he says, obviously, here, shares his experience being Allison's manager. He says, for over a decade, I part with so much disrespect and just plain evil stuff from you because of him. I should have dropped you as a manager. I hate that I built you up I hate that I built you up and fought extremely hard for you to get jobs, even hiring you as a judge on a show to Bravo I helped build. Should have let them fire you when you showed your true colors on set and held us up because you could barely speak. Don't act holier than thou with the demons and skeletons you have. Your house is made of glass. I don't have a thing to say. Others are coming for you now. People know my addiction journey because it's part of my testimony, but if you're truly healed, then you'll share your true self and not monetize Stefan. Okay, so that was what he was sharing on his page as well. Okay, so over a decade, he put up so much disrespect. So they've known each other for almost 10 years. So that's quite a long time, right? So we know that in that space, when somebody knows that person for a very long time, they're going to have a different perspective on those who know her for a very short time. I don't really need to go any further, I think, with the recording. There's some other stuff, and we can do a part 2 maybe tomorrow, but I think what we've heard so far, again, it's not necessarily strong evidence. It is something. I don't like the fact she's an NDA. I don't like the fact that she's been obtuse about the fact that NDA for funeral and NDA for party is completely different. And it gives a little bit of manipulation a little bit as well at the moment. What I would say is that, again, with her dropping her name, her child coming out, there were so many people coming out and defending Stefan and saying what she's doing is wrong, and for her not to see that and her to quote unquote say like she's moving like she's doing a good thing, it's more evidence about potentially this woman not being who she purports to be, and this woman actually being somebody who didn't necessarily care about Stefan, or at least is showing a lack of care in this moment and in this time. So that recording that he put on there's no gotcha moment, but I can see how that helps to paint a picture that Allison really is a bit of a villain in the story. I know there's more going to come out. There's more going to come out because people are going to speak. People are going to talk. 2025 is a year of clarity, so we're going to see more of that. But let me know your thoughts down below. Do you guys agree, disagree? It's time to have a conversation. And I definitely want to do another video where we're talking about the black women are saying that, Twitch is not their issue at the moment, and I totally understand that. I think there's a conversation to be had. Much like... make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notifications of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, so we'll see you again very soon. Little black book, you know what time it is.
Little black book, you know what time it is.